Abraham Lincoln was the first Republican president of the United States. He lost the popular vote only once in his entire political career. With a single executive order, the Emancipation Proclamation, he freed all the slaves, allowing black men to enlist, and shifted the entire focus of the Civil War toward ending slavery and preserving the Union. Before we review his life, a few key themes stand out in Lincoln's natal chart. He was born with the sun rising in Aquarius, the sign of the people, paired with a Capricorn moon and Saturn conjunct his MC, a powerful triple Saturn influence. Saturn speaks to duty, discipline, authority, hard work, and an immense sense of responsibility. His Mercury in Pisces, square Neptune, gave him a poetic, compassionate voice, one uniquely capable of speaking about peace in times of war. My full analysis is at the end, so let's first take a look at his life. Abraham Lincoln was born on a wintry day, February 12, 1809, in a log cabin on the wild frontier of Kentucky. His life began in deep poverty and near obscurity. Frontier life was harsh and dangerous. He had one sister, Sarah, and a brother who died in infancy. His father worked as a farmer and carpenter, and Abraham worked for him until the age of 21. When Abraham was just 9 years old, his mother Nancy died of milk sickness. His father later remarried Sarah Bush Johnston, a woman who encouraged Abraham's education and shared the Baptist faith of a community opposed to slavery. Lincoln received less than 1 year of formal schooling. His father did not support his desire to study, so Abraham was determined to educate himself. He walked miles to read and borrow books, driven by a profound love of learning. He devoured Euclid's geometry to sharpen his logic, and Aesop's fables to learn moral storytelling, skills he would later use to move an entire nation with plain, unforgettable language. Tall, lanky, and awkward, Lincoln struck out on his own in New Salem, partnering in a general store that eventually became a tavern. Here, his gift for storytelling and humor emerged, and people loved him. His wit balanced a deeply melancholy nature. Though known for his honesty, the business failed, and Lincoln was forced to sell his share. He went on to serve as a militia captain, postmaster, and county surveyor, always reading, always learning more, and eventually he decided to become a lawyer. Without attending law school, Lincoln studied legal texts on his own and began helping neighbors with their cases. He became one of Illinois' most respected attorneys, renowned for his persistence and integrity. In 1839, Lincoln met Mary Todd, a daughter of a wealthy businessman, and the following year they became engaged. She had a premonition that he would someday be president. Their marriage was a turbulent one, and only one of their 4 sons lived to maturity. Lincoln ran twice for the Illinois legislature, winning on his second attempt. During his term, he supported expanding voting rights to all men, not just the landowners. He believed deeply in plain language, moral clarity, and fairness. As tensions over slavery intensified, Lincoln became increasingly aware of the contradiction between slavery and America's founding ideals. He took a courageous and often lonely stand. In 1858, as the Republican Senate candidate opposing Stephen Douglas, Lincoln declared, "A house divided against itself cannot stand. A nation cannot endure half slave and half free, as it will become one thing or the other." In 1860, Abraham Lincoln was elected as the first Republican president. South Carolina soon seceded from the Union, followed quickly by other southern states. To Lincoln, secession was a form of anarchy, and he was a man devoted to law, order, and constitutional authority. The British unofficially financed and armed the Southern Confederacy, seeking to dominate its industry, and Lincoln's enemies were growing. In 1861, traveling to Washington, D.C. under the threat of assassination, Lincoln watched as Confederate forces fired on Fort Sumter. The Civil War had begun. Though a man of peace, Lincoln believed that preserving the Union and the Constitution was essential to safeguarding liberty. In 1863, Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, declaring enslaved people in rebellious territories to be free. He welcomed black soldiers into the Union Army, recognizing that they had the most at stake to lose, and their courage helped turn the tide of the war. At Gettysburg, Lincoln reminded the nation that it was conceived in liberty and dedicated to the principle that all men are created equal. Their sacrifice, he said, would bring a new birth of freedom. Lincoln also established a national currency, Greenbacks, to finance the war and curb corruption among private banks that could print their own money, making more powerful enemies. In 1864, he was re-elected in the midst of war and pressured Congress into passing the 13th Amendment, abolishing slavery forever, and he succeeded. By 1865, the Civil War was nearly over. Lincoln was already advocating voting rights for Black Americans who had helped save the Union. And just over a month later, he was assassinated at Ford's Theater. So now, knowing this life of sacrifice and moral courage, let's return to Lincoln's natal chart and see how these planetary forces shaped the man who reshaped a nation. His sun is in Aquarius, the sign of the people, and conjunct the ascendant, making for a powerful sun, with its ruler Saturn also conjunct the MC, revealing a powerful destiny. This is also a signature for fame. His moon is in Capricorn, the sign of ambition, ruled by Saturn, also the sign of duty and self-discipline. This is a triple Saturn signature and powerful. Saturn has the power to create structure for its goals and get to its ultimate destination. Sagittarius at the MC can represent law, and Lincoln was a lawyer. His Mercury, planet of communication, is conjunct powerful Pluto, giving him a voice that others did not ignore. Also in the first house, others would recognize not only his powerful speeches, but both planets are in Pisces, the sign of great compassion. These two planets have a square to his MC, Neptune and Saturn in Sag, so Lincoln thought in broad and imaginative ways and worked tirelessly and practically to implement his vision. His Venus and Jupiter, the great expander, are in his first house, increasing his popularity. People see what planets are in the first and 10th house most easily, as these houses are the ones that define our persona and how we present ourselves to others. With his North Node in Scorpio in the 8th house, Lincoln was destined to confront death, transformation, power, and collective suffering. These themes echo again and again throughout his life. Saturn and Scorpio are written all over his life story. His North Node is also conjunct Uranus, repeating his Aquarian theme. His Mars in the sign of Libra also echoes this message of fairness for everyone. This is the chart of a powerful leader destined to deal with the most difficult of circumstances with courage, persistence, and determination to do the right thing, and with common sense and compassion for the people. It is truly a great chart of a great man.